Hi, welcome to today's video. We're going to do 10 minutes of yoga to ease up some tight hips or any tension you're feeling in that area. So we're going to start off lying down on our backs. So roll yourself down, hug your knees into your chest. Take one hand onto each knee and start to draw your knees in close. And then push your knees away. And then pull your knees in close and push your knees away. And then we're going to draw the knees in, open them apart from one another, keep your big toes touching, and do some big circles in the air with your knees. So you're moving around from the hips, so just going to loosen and warm up that area. And then do 4 or 5 that way, and then switch direction. Start to do some big circles back in the opposite direction. Moving slowly and carefully. Try to even out any little stutters or any points where it catches. Try to make it as even as possible. And when you've done your 4 or 5 that way, bring your knees back together. Gonna hug the right knee into the chest. Extend the left leg up into the air. Inhale. As you exhale, lower your left leg to hover. And then as you inhale, slowly bring that leg back up. Really engage the core, squeeze in tight. Exhale, slowly lower down. And then inhale, lifting up, tight core. One more time, exhale on the way down. So just moving really slowly and carefully, inhaling on the way back up, and then we'll switch over. So hug your left knee in, extend your right leg up above your hips, flex your foot. You can have a bent knee as you do this if you need to. Inhale to prepare. Exhale as you slowly lower to hover your heel above your mat. And then inhale as you lift that leg back up into the air. So exhale on your way down. Inhale on your way up. And then one more on the right side. And then hug both knees back into your chest. Have a rock from side to side. Circle your ankles around a few times each way. Extend both legs up into the air. Flex the feet, just hold there for a moment. You can have your hands by your side or hands onto the legs. Take a deep breath. And then slowly lower your legs down together. So you can go straight legs all the way to the floor, or you can bend your knees if you feel your lower back starts to lift. And then take your right leg out to the right. So as you exhale, take your right knee over to the right, and then come back to the center on the inhale. As you exhale, take your left knee out to the left. Come back to the centre, and then open both knees apart, so reclined bound ankle pose. Soles of the feet come together and knees drop out to the side. Turn your palms up, and then just pause here for a moment. So you're not actively pushing the legs down, you're not doing anything at all, you're just relaxing. You're just letting go and allowing the knees to sink naturally down to the floor. And if you are particularly tight in the hips, this one can be a little bit painful. So you don't want to ever be in any pain or push yourself too far when you're doing yoga. So if that's the case, you can bring the knees a little bit up, take your hands underneath for support, or if you've got some yoga blocks, you can pop them there. If you've just got a few rolled up blankets or cushions or something, you can just support your legs there. So we'll hold this pose for a little bit longer at the end. So when we do that, then you might like to put some props underneath if you need to. So we're just going to hold for one more breath at the moment, and then bring the legs back together. Bring your knees to your chest, hands underneath your thighs, and rock yourself up. And then you're going to spin all the way around onto hands and knees. So take your legs behind you. So you want your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, fingers spread wide. You're going to inhale the right leg up into the air. Start to spiral your leg around. So you start doing some small circles in the air, and then you gradually make them bigger and bigger. So going as big as you comfortably can while still keeping the rest of your body nice and still. So there's no kind of swaying in the hips and big movements and momentum. So just keeping your hips level, your core engaged, your shoulders level, your spine straight, and then doing some big circles, just moving your right leg. And then circle back the other way and gradually move back into the centre of your spiral. So make those circles smaller and smaller each time until you come back to the middle. And then inhale, extend your leg up. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest. Inhale, extend your leg. Exhale, take your knee over to your right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, take your knee across to your left elbow. Inhale, extend. And then exhale, back to hands and knees. And then we'll do the same on the left side. Inhale, extend your left leg out behind you. Hold there, engage the core, get yourself ready, look down between your hands. Start to spiral your leg around. Start with those small circles, and then gradually making those circles bigger and bigger each time. Until eventually you're doing the biggest circle that you comfortably can without rocking from side to side, still keeping that core tight, keeping the hips level, and then circle back the other way. So just drawing that spiral back in on itself until you get to the center point, and then inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to your left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to your right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hands and knees. Sit back onto your heels if that's comfortable. If not, just sit however's comfortable for you. Start to circle your wrists around, and we'll just ease those out for a little bit. Move them backwards and forwards and round. Maybe you might like to do a little stretch where you just hold onto the back of your hand, really gently push your palm towards the underside of your forearm. And then we're going to come into downward facing dog. So you're going to take your hands underneath your shoulders again, fingers spread out nice and wide, tuck your toes, lift your hips up into the air, pedal out through your feet, shift your weight from one side to the other. And then inhale, right leg up into the air. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, leg up. Exhale, knee to right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, extend. And then as you exhale, bring your leg all the way through. Externally rotate, so your knee is going to come behind your right wrist and your foot is going to come behind your left wrist, and you're going to drop your back knee down. And we're going to come into pigeon pose. So you've got your shin across the short edge of your mat, and then you're going to slowly take your left leg back. And you're going to do this one really slowly, really gently. So you might find that this is too much and you need to actually just ease up a little bit. You want to keep your hips level and then just gradually sink down. So I'm quite flexible in my hips, so I can come all the way to the floor. But if you don't, you don't have to go all the way to the floor to get the benefits of the pose. So you're just going to sink down as far as you comfortably can. Stay on your hands or come down onto your forearms. Release your head. Close your eyes over. Keep your left hip pushing down to the floor. So the left hip kind of wants to lift up as you roll over to the right. Keep everything centered. Make sure there's no tension anywhere. So there might be quite an intense stretching feeling. Might be feeling like a really deep, strong stretch, but there shouldn't be any pain at all. So if there's any sharp sensation, any pain, if you're having to really breathe and get through it, then you've gone a bit too far. So you just want to ease up. It should be comfortable. Might feel strange, but it shouldn't feel uncomfortable. So take a few deep breaths here, wherever you are. And then we'll slowly come back up. So you're going to come up onto your hands. Tuck your left toes, walk your knee forwards a few times so your hips lift up off your mat, and then come into downward facing dog. Pedal through your feet, loosen up the legs, and then we'll do the same on the left leg. So you're going to inhale, leg extends up into the air. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest. Inhale, lift your leg up. Exhale, over to your left elbow. Inhale, lift. Exhale to your right elbow. Inhale, lift, and then exhale. Bring your leg through for pigeon pose. So you've got your shin across your mat, you've got your knee behind your left hand, and then your foot is behind your right hand. And your foot may not be all the way up here, it might be a little bit further back, but it's going to be in line with your right hand. Take your right leg slowly, slowly back. So really just ease gently into it. Like I said before, I'm quite flexible here, so I can go all the way down, but you might just be up here, and then you're going to come down onto your forearms. Take a few deep breaths. Make yourself comfortable. And then with the hips this time, your body wants to kind of roll over to the left and your right hip pop up. So you want to be internally drawing down through the right hip. Pushing that right hip to the floor. Just pausing here, make sure everything is relaxed. Make sure you aren't holding on to any tension. Make sure your shoulders haven't come up to your ears. Keep everything nice and loose. Taking about 2 more rounds of breath. And again, this should be comfortable. You shouldn't be kind of counting the seconds until you come out of the pose. Choose a position where you're quite happy to stay there for a while. And then when you're ready, take your hands underneath your shoulders, lift the chest, tuck your right toes, start to walk them back in. And then back into your downward facing dog, have a little pedal through the feet, loosen up the backs of the legs, lift the hips up and back. Big breath in, exhale, lower down. Swing your legs in front of you, and we're going to come into that reclined bound ankle pose again. So if you felt like you needed any props, take a second to go and get them. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together and your knees coming apart, rolling down onto your back. Turn your palms so they face up, feel your shoulders drop down. Close your eyes over if you're happy to do so, or if not, just look up to the ceiling, find a spot to focus on. Just focus on that one thing, block everything else out. And then take your focus to your breath. As you exhale, feel your whole body relax. Feel your arms sink down to the floor, feel your shoulders melt down. Feel your chest open as the arms hang heavy by your side. Feel your core relax, so release your abdominal muscles. Feel your lower back release any tension. You might need to tuck your hips under if you find that your lower back is lifted quite high up off the floor. And then thinking about your legs, so just feel the legs sink down and relax, so either hanging in the air or supported by something, just letting go. And with each out breath, imagine the knees are sinking further to the floor. As you exhale, relax your entire body. And then you can stay here for as long as you like. Whenever you are ready, you're going to bring your knees really slowly and carefully back together. And then walk your feet out so they're a bit wider than hips distance, about shoulder distance apart. And have your knees drop in towards one another so they're supported. And then they're stretching out the opposite direction so they're internally rotating. Take a few deep breaths here. And then walk your feet back into hips distance and bring yourself up into a seated position. So however that works for you, rocking up, rolling to one side and pushing yourself up. When you're there, sit yourself tall, legs crossed or however is comfortable for you. Give your shoulders a few rolls, maybe stretch out your neck a few times. Just relax everything else. And then inhale, sweep your arms out and up to finish. Exhale, bring your hands to your chest. Namaste.